Yeah. Especially with like masks, like also just like part of the information of like that could very well be Connor. No, that's not Connor. No. Why would Connor? Connor's in Australia, wasn't it? Could be. His family is from Ottawa. I am in Toronto, so that would be another thing. That's very cute.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Comedy Alley. Thank you all for joining us here on this wonderful Saturday evening. I am your DJ, BK Broiler, for this evening. We have a great show planned for you tonight. Now, are you ready to get this show started? I said, are you ready to get this show started? Woo! It is my pleasure to introduce you to your host for this evening's festivities. Legend says Vikings left him on the banks of Toronto. Other smarter people have told me he was born in an alley. He crafted this space to remind him of home. Please give a warm welcome to your host, Lars Classington.
Oh yeah, we are doing it alley style. That's right, Luna. She gets really fired up. She good?
Yeah.
All right. Guys, how you doing? Welcome to the alley. What a night, huh? What a night. Let's hear it. Who's a first timer? First time in the alley? Oh, we got the whole front section here. Never been. So far, so good. Yeah. This lovely lady here, you were like, when are we getting started? Please, my core temperature cannot take it. Please start the show, sir. I can't survive. Brandon, see if we have any blankets, or maybe we'll do it Empire Strikes Back for the Star Wars fans. We'll cut open a tauntaun and you can slide inside it. Does that work for you? You're like, I don't give a shit. I just want heat right now. I will slice open an intergalactic being and sleep inside like a burrito just to stay warm in this alley right now. How did you guys find out about us? I always like to meet people. By the way, by the end of this, I'm going to know everyone's name because this alley is like this. We've all been through a lot, right? I feel like we've all been through a lot. So it's just like, you just got to think like, I feel like after the pandemic, making your way in the world today takes everything you got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to go to an alley when it's only 8 degrees out in October? I literally think we have about 1 degree Celsius per audience member. You each get 1 degree. That is all yours tonight. You can just like hug that 1 degree Celsius. Oh, I got that 1 degree. Feel free. Can we get more candles? I think if we get about 1,000 candles, if you guys just make your tables mostly candles, I think you'll feel okay. Just be careful that this is mostly wood. This apparatus here is mostly wood, the deck. So don't light the whole thing on fire. I love this. My name's Lars, by the way. I'm the host and proprietor of this alley. Formerly known, it's now Comedy Alley, but it was formerly known just as Alley. It was nothing. Yeah, I love that. That was the most sincere. So it wasn't always this wacky place with these umbrellas. It didn't come this way. That's what I'm saying. And does anyone else in the alley have a spare alley kicking around and you're looking for an alley guy to kind of spruce it up? Sir, do you have a spare alley in your life? No? I'm not going to rest till I turn every alley into a comedy alley. I'm like out in Toronto looking for alley. I'm like, hey, you with the needles, get out of here. Hey, scram, this is my alley now. I'm just turning depressing alleys into comedy alleys. And the main way to do that is wacky umbrellas. There's 8 of them. Give it up for the umbrellas, guys. They're holding it down. Strictly ornamental. If it pours rain, I do not think they will do anything for you. Most of them are not placed over your head, so even if they are doing anything, you're just out in the cold rain here. So you guys are going to have a good time, though. Every week, every Friday and Saturday, since July, this is 18 weekends in a row. Never in my life did I think, at one point in my life, I had never thought like, yeah, I bet for a period of 18 weeks in a row, I'm going to spend every weekend in an alley. But here we are. Dreams come true. I'm basically living a homeless man's dream plus a PA system. I'm just living in an alley. And maybe that's the way we solve homelessness. Everyone in an alley right now, we just give them a PA system, maybe a few wacky umbrellas, and all of a sudden they have a budding comedic enterprise on a weekly basis, right? But we can do it in parks. We can do comedy underpass. We can find all the Maybe we can find some marshes and some bogs. Do people still live in bogs? Basically, I feel like I've turned into an alley troll. I spend most of my time in this alley. I was thinking about this. I spent 18 weeks in an alley, just like, hey, come on into the alley, everyone. But I sell tickets for it, and it's fucking. I love it. I sit in here in this alley at least twice a week on a weekly basis for the last 18 weeks, and I'm like, this place is fucking magical, right? Will, is it Will?
It's well.
It's pretty magical, right? Oh, I know. I've seen all the emails come in. I see all the tickets. I know exactly who you are. I know whether you paid full price or half price. I know all the details. I know all the details, everyone. We do have a fantastic show next week as well. Never mind this show. Next week is going to be amazing. You know what? Just everyone go home and get working on your Halloween costumes, and we're going to reconvene next Friday and Saturday. It's going to be a Halloween party for real, though. But this show is amazing every Friday and Saturday. We do usually 3 to 5 pro comedians. I get to host it as well. I book all my friends. I invite a lot of my friends. I meet new friends, and we have a great fucking time. And you know what we're trying to do? We're trying to convince some of these Canadian artists that despite what people think and feel about the Canadian entertainment business, maybe they don't have to leave and go to LA, which is a place that's currently on fire. Do you understand that? Will, do you understand that?
I understand that.
People want to leave this country and go somewhere that's on fire right now. It's like pretty much perpetually on fire, and at any given point it might just break and fall into the ocean. People are like, well, it's better than going to Moncton again. I could go to Moncton and do comedy in Moncton. The people that you're going to see on a weekly basis, they've done Just for Laughs, they've done JFL 42, they've done Halifax, they've done Moncton, they've done Winnipeg, they've done Moose Jaw, they've done Moose Jaw, they've done Moose Jaw. We've done a lot of Moose Jaw. Every year we're all going back to Moose Jaw. Have you guys ever been to Moose Jaw? It's a comedy hub. It's every Canadian's dream to go there. It gets so cold there that it's the legitimate thing where you can just piss in the cold and your piss crystallizes and freezes and disappears. It just evaporates, like it instantly turns into ice crystals. I know. Trust me, guys. Look it up. Google it. I don't know what I'm talking about right now at all. But I do want to tell you about this. Is anyone else in the alley? I'm glad I said alley that way. I usually say, is anyone else in the room? And then I'm like, Lars, you're not in a fucking room. You're outside in an alley, you delusional fuck. I'm not, and this is not a room right now. This is an alley. So I think, is anyone else in the alley? You guys ever think like, man, there's so many things that I could and am good at, could be and am good at, that it's just sometimes hard to choose. Like I have no doubts if any one thing, comedy as an example, doesn't work out, I have so many strong fallbacks that I feel I will be amazing at. Anyone feel confident like that? Just me? Only you're like, yeah? Okay, good. Because here's what I'm thinking I want to do. I'm thinking of doing a little pivot. I'm going to do a career pivot, and I'm thinking of getting into the music business. And I'm going to get into the music business. Specifically, I'm going to become a Crash Test Dummies cover solo act. I'm going to tour because I think you guys know the Crash Test Dummies. Make some noise. You guys heard of the Crash Test Dummies? Yeah, a little bit, right? And I'm going to go on tour as a Crash Test Dummies. And because here's the thing is, they're in demand. I'm sure they're in demand. You would love to see the Crash Test Dummies. When's the last time you saw a live Crash Test Dummies show? Right? And there's a lot of towns that want it. So I think I can do it. And do you guys know does anyone not know the Crash Test Dummies? Okay. You don't know the Crash Test Dummies? Will, where you been?
Ottawa.
Where are you? Oh, Ottawa. Okay. Yeah, they're from Winnipeg. They are from Winnipeg. It's the guy. And the reason that I want to be a cover band for them is I don't actually need to even learn any of the words of the song. It's this guy. He's got a real deep voice, and he goes, it's this song. Once there was a boy whose parents made him come directly home right after school, and when they went to their church, they shook and lurched all over the church floor. They couldn't quite explain it. They'd always just gone there. And then he didn't even write a chorus. The chorus to this song and the name of this song is literally He just hums the song is called with like 27 mms. It's just called and so I don't need to learn any of the words. I'm just gonna go what day would it be? And then he just and there's the other one. So you guys know the other one. It's about Superman. We got any Superman fans in the house? You guys really like Superman, right? Anyone? Yeah? Fuck yeah. Okay, it goes like Superman never made any money. He's got a real deep voice. Saving the world from Solomon Grundy. He's got really like when he's singing, you're like, is he singing or having like a weird acid reflux thing? Is that what he's doing? Sometimes I just that's how this and then the chorus of this song he actually wrote lyrics. It goes Superman never made any money. Like that's Superman's problem. Superman's not having a problem with money. He's fucking Superman. Like that's the deal. Like Lois is like, hey Soup, what's up? Why are you so glum, chum? Like what's going on? You seem a little down in the dumps. Let's turn that frown upside down. What's the matter? You haven't figured out kryptonite? And he's like, no, I'm broke and I can't pay my bills. I don't want all of our dates, Lois. You always pay for the dates because nobody pays me to do that. Like that's not the thing. Superman. Have I lost you on this? Are you guys like, don't give Superman. Superman doesn't need money. All right, he doesn't need money. If he wanted money, if he doesn't have money, he just smash through the front of a restaurant and say, give me some fucking sandwiches. I'm Superman. But you're like, no, that's not what Superman would do. Of course he wouldn't do that because he's Superman. But what would happen is the restaurateurs would be like, Superman, oh my God, you're the fucking best. Come on in and have a tuna sandwiches and fries on the house. No need to pay. Not Superman never made any money. Superman was never sad because he didn't make money. It's a fucked up song, but I still want to tour as I want to do it be a Crash Test Dummy solo band called Crash Test Dummy. I'm just going to call it Crash Test Dummy, and it's going to be me. And I don't need to learn the words. It's just going to be, I'm just going to drink a bunch of things that give me like, I'm going to drink Coke and Mentos and then just go. All right. Just so you guys know, is there a limit to the, this is a fun fact, a question, I'm going to poll the room. Do you guys think there is a limit to the amount of time I could spend up here on this stage in this alley going, and I'll tell you guys the answer is no. I could do that all night long, and I just might. But we have 4 fantastic acts, and I feel it would be a little narcissistic of me if I spent 2 full hours and made you guys lose some extremities out here due to your low core temperature. Couple ground rules, couple notes. When you're inside, throw the mask on. Use the bathroom in there. You'll notice that there's a red carpet in the bathroom. You can have a red carpet poop, and there also is a fancy, all included. You don't have to pay extra, even if you paid it 50% off tonight. You still get to use it. In the bathroom is a bidet. Who's used it? Make some noise for the alley bidet. Who knew an alley would have something as classy as a bidet? Right? You guys, does anyone not know what a bidet is? Anyone in the room own a bidet? Am I the only? You do own one?
Yeah.
Wow, good for you. What's your name?
Christian.
Christian. All right. And you own a bidet. How long have you had a bidet?
A couple years.
Couple years. All right. I think you were ahead of the curve. Where did you buy it?
Amazon.
Straight up?
Yeah.
Just Amazon? Did you
Yeah.
see an ad for it, or because here
Yes.
you did?
Yes,
You
yeah.
did on your Instagram? It probably heard you listen. You were like, "Oh, my butt's so dirty," and then an ad jumped up. You're like, I can't. Hey, we're out of toilet paper again, and then an ad popped up on Instagram. Be like, bidet. Here's the thing. There's no bidet stores. There's no bidet depot. There's no bidets or us. I've never seen a commercial for it. I've never heard an ad. So I'm like, who's selling them? So I've installed one here that you guys can use just to take it for a test drive. You know, like a used car salesman. By the way, if you want to buy that one, we'll give it to you half price, $69. You can take it home tonight. $69. Game used. You know how many legendary Canadian entertainers have used that? Like so many funny butts have been on that. There's a lot. You could, and they've all signed it. It's going to end up in the Canadian Smithsonian. So I'm getting into the bidet business because I think I have invented what I believe is the greatest. This is how I put it: the Sleep Country Canada of bidet jingles. You guys, and Sleep Country Canada, I'm sure you guys all know it, one of the greatest jingles of all time. You guys all know Sleep Country? Yeah, you guys familiar? You don't know Christine McGee? Oh wow, you guys are in for a treat. So the jingle goes, Sleep Country Canada.
Why buy a mattress anywhere else?
Why? Well, yeah, they're always boop, always the boop at the end. Sleep Country Canada. Why buy a mattress anywhere else? I think Christine McGee had a warehouse full of mattresses, no business plan. She had zero business plan. She was like, holy shit, we got this whole warehouse. What are we going to do with these mattresses? And she hired a guy like me to make a wicked jingle. I didn't make that one, but I think I have the Sleep Country Canada of bidet jingles, and it goes a little something like this. Come on down to Bob's Bidets, because with the bidet, you're always rim job ready. Bob's Bidets. Boop. Yeah, I knew I could count on you. And if you don't think that's the best fucking bidet jingle ever, you need to right now Google rim job. Just Google it right now, and you'll be like, oh, I see, Lars. That's for sure the best bidet jingle. 100%. 100%. One time I was in Gravenhurst doing a show, and the show was in, this is where it is. Think of this venue. No, it wasn't at the Gravenhurst Theater, which is up in Muskoka. It was at the Gravenhurst Jug City, which I know sounds like a weird strip club, but it's not a strip club. It's a convenience store, a Jug City. At one point, they sold jugs of milk. It's a gas station / convenience store. One side was a gas station. The other side, we were doing a show. And this is how small time it is. In the middle of the show, a guy was like right in the middle of the show, a guy came in. Literally, people were buying smokes and gasoline. Like they would come in and they'd turn towards the show, or they'd just go buy smokes and gas. They'd be like, you here for the show? No, I just want some smokes and gas. And then during the show, a guy came towards me and I'm like, oh, sir, are you here for the show? And he's walking towards me. And right next to me was a worm machine. Next to me on stage, and he's like, no, I'm just here to buy some worms. And he put $3 in a worm machine and bought worms. It's like I was upstaged by worms. A worm machine. So the reason I'm telling you this is I talked about bidets there, and I asked the room, I was like, does anyone in the room own a bidet? And a father and daughter, the daughter said yes, and the father said no. And right in front of me, like there was a mix-up, and they start having a bidet debate. Right in front of me. I'm trying to do my bidet comedy, and they're having a bidet debate. They're just debating bidets right in front of me. You guys ever been to a bidet debate? Was anyone in high school? Was anyone in high school a member of the bidet debate team? I was a master bidet debater, let me tell you. The amount of bidets I've debated. I think I fucked it up right there, guys. Yeah.
Fun work.
Bidet, say it for yourself, though. Just before we start the show, say it for yourself. Get it out. Bidet debate. Bidet debate. Bidet debate. Bidet debate. Bidet debate. Does anyone not know what's happening right now? Does anyone not have a clue what the fuck is happening? There's going to be a lot more of that tonight, but we got to get this show rolling. I'll be up here back and forth, but we got some hilarious acts. You guys ready to get the show going? Woo! We're going to need more than that. I know. Here's the thing. It's chilly. It's like 8 degrees, so you guys are fucking troopers. I love you for being here. Pro tip, though, the harder you laugh and the more you move, you can't let those extremities get no blood in them. At some point, there's blood seeping out of your fingers and your toes right now, and I don't want you to have the old black finger. I don't want you to be like, oh, I lost all my limbs in Lars's alley. So the bigger you get and the harder you laugh. You got to get the blood pumping, guys. This guy, he's toured literally across the world doing fringe festivals. He's one of the best in the city. He's a co-producer of an incredible show called Free Flow Showcase, which there's the co-producer. That's the other co-producer. They do comedy, they do music, they do storytelling, and all kinds of other things. It's incredible, and he's here for you guys. Give it up for ANTO Chan. ANTO Chan.
Hey, thank you, Lars. I really appreciate the barf-smelling microphone right now. You guys smell that? Oh, all night. Hello, nice to meet all of you. I am ANTO. I really enjoy going out in public and seeing humans these days. Anybody else? You guys enjoy that?
Oh.
Yeah, all right. Some other people are like, yes, I already did the task of coming out here. Stop pointing us out. It's okay. I already feel that sometimes. It is great to be out here, though, but the last time I went out, I got a COVID test. You guys ever get a COVID test so deep it feels like you're just picking your nose, like really deep into your brain and pulling out the matter? Yeah. That joke is old now because now they just like kind of go in there and then you're like, that's it? No penetration? They don't like it when you say no penetration in a very skillful moment like that. But it is weird though because I have like a very like sexual minded like I think about like sex way too much. But I also work with children. Not at the same time, dude. Chill out, all right? It's weird. I know it's weird, but it's like you can separate it, right? That's the whole concept, right? But I'm also like really good at like working with children. Like I'm an early child educator, and I'm also really good at napping. But I'm not really good at kidnapping. You know, I mean, like unless I wanted to, but I don't. That's what I'm trying to say. But I worked in an early child education space, like a daycare before. If any of you guys have children. Wow, definitely people who write "I don't want children" in their profiles. That's like maybe you do down the road, okay? But I work with kids, which makes me not want kids right now. That's basically what it is. If you work with children, you're like, there's no way that this is a good idea to have children because you're like, what? You want me to work with kids for like 12 hours a day, go home, and then just get bothered by kids all the time? Like, fuck that, right? But I work with kids, and it's really like a bit annoying. The kids always ask all these crazy questions, whatever. But my favorite is asking them questions, right? Because no teachers usually ask them questions because they're so busy, right? So that I'm just any task that somebody asks me to do at work, I'm like, no, I'm good, and I use that time to ask kids like weird questions, right? But it never starts off weird, but it gets weird, right? So I asked the kid, I'm like, so what did you do during your break? And then the little girl's just like, I got pregnant. And I was like, what the hell are you even talking about, right? And then she's like, yeah, I got pregnant. And I was like, okay, I don't want to ask, like, but she just kept saying it. I don't know if you've ever been around kids where they want you to ask the question. It's kind of like, she's like, I'm like, all right. What do you mean by that, right? I don't want to be one of those like suppressing parents or like people who work. I don't want to suppress this child's like creativity, right? So I'm like, what do you mean by this? And she's like, I got poked in the butt and my belly got big. And I was like, can you please walk away? In my head, can you please walk away? I don't want to like continue this conversation, right? Super uncomfortable. And then and I'm like, actually, that's not how you get pregnant. And then she's just like, huh? And then so she like really was curious now, right? And then I was just like, oh shit, like I think she wants me to explain how you get pregnant. But as a male who's never gotten pregnant myself, I had no idea how to explain to a 6-year-old child, how do you get pregnant, right? So I was like, getting pregnant is the way you get pregnant. And I just kept repeating it. That's how you know someone has no idea what the fuck they're gonna say. They just keep repeating like what they're trying to get at, you know? It's like if you're catching someone cheating and they're just like, I was talking to them because they're lying, all right? They're just fucking lying. So I was like, the way you get pregnant is, and then I look up and there's 12 children now in front of me. And I was like, oh dear God. I like turned around like I'm at a poetry slam, like waiting for my turn. I'm like, okay, take this all in. What am I gonna say? I turn around, the rest of the class is there now, 20 kids, all looking right up at me. And I was like, oh dear God, I'm so screwed. And I'm like, getting pregnant is, and then right at that moment, really sweet little girl Allie comes up. Probably should change her name. Allison. Oh God, that's probably her full name. Allison McEachern. Oh God, that's her full name. Oh dear. Okay, so she pushes me out of the way like this. Literally comes up, just pushes me out of the way like this, and I was just like, all right, I don't know what's going on anymore. She's like, pregnancy is, and I was like, that's way better already. That's like a technical term. Like I'm like saying getting pregnant like it's an accident, and I just repeated it like 40 times, right? She's like, pregnancy is when a man loves a woman. I was like, that is so much better than what I was gonna say. Dear God, like starting with love. How did she even like? Did she already plan that? Like, when a man loves a woman and he goes near her, I was like, okay. I think we're getting a little off the track right now. Goes near her? What's happening here, right? Like, and I'm not saying I'm letting her do her thing. Goes near her, and he moves around a lot, and she just starts like moving like super uncomfortably. I was like, what have you seen, young child? Like, dear God, you must have experienced some really great what have you seen in your eyes? You know, and she's just like, yeah, it moves around a lot. And then an egg goes inside the mommy, and it grows and grows, and it grows and grows. And then she had like a bit of a flair for the dramatics, right? So she just kept saying it, and it grows and grows, and the kids are like, yes, yes, then what? And it grows and grows, and they're like, yes, what's next? And then she's like, and you were all born. And the kids are like, oh my God. Like, they're so excited, right? One of the kids ran across the room, ripped off his shirt, and is like, I am alive. Like, so excited, right? And I was like, oh my God. Like, I went up to not Allison, and I was like, hey, how did you know all this stuff? She's like, my mom's a nurse, so I know everything. I'm like, that is not true, but all right, high five. She's like, you look so lost. You know, like, kids just call you out. You look so lost. You had no idea what to say. I was like, okay, get out of here. Stop talking to me right now, all right? And then the young little girl, she comes up to me, the one who said she got pregnant. She's like, no wonder you don't have a girlfriend. You don't even know what pregnancy is. And I was like, what the fuck? That is so painful. I was just really glad, though, that these little kids, they handled it themselves, and I didn't have to explain to 20 children what a cream pie was. That would have been so devastating. And my explanation, people always ask, what would your explanation be? I'm like, always ends up at Shoppers Drug Mart. That's what happens. You just have to tell them, can I get the large box for the small pill? Okay, that's okay. So it has been a weird couple weeks too. I went back home to visit my parents. And anybody here have trouble saying they love their parents? Is that like yeah? It's hard, right? It's really hard to say. So, but I started, I started going to therapy a couple years ago, team therapy. Yeah, all right. Mental health challenges. People are like, you talk about therapy so much, it's like a religion to you. I was like, praise be thy therapist. Sunday night sex with Sue, my dear Lord and Savior. But I really appreciate like therapy, right? And so, but they are saying you got to tell people that you care about, that you love them. That's important, right? And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna start telling everybody in my family that I love them. You guys aren't in a Chinese family. You don't know how fucking awkward that is, right? Like literally no one in the family has ever said those words. Maybe they said it in Cantonese once or twice ever, but like full on saying I love you in English, it's very uncommon, very uncomfortable. But I started saying it to my mom, and I remember the first time I said it to my mom, I was like, Mom, I just gotta let you know. And it's like, it's uncomfortable when they have like a lead up to the I love you, like, something I need to say to you. It's like, you're gonna have to sit down for this one. It's just like, I love you, Mom. And she had like a really sweet answer. She says, okay. Do you want some fruit? And then just like ran out of the room. And I was like, oh, all right, that didn't go very well. But every other time that like I would, talk to her, she wouldn't say it back to me, but she would text it to me. Like, and you know how weird that is though, right? Like text like really soon after, and it's like, okay, all right. But then it's weird because I'm like feeling shitty when she doesn't text me after. Anyway, it's just a weird thing. But then after a while, I wore her down. It's like I wore her down with my love. That sounds so weird and I was like, you know what, Mom, I love you, and it's just important that you know that. And then she said it back to me, and I was like, oh my God, this is like the greatest moment ever. But I'm like just fucked up or something. I was like, that's not enough. I need her to say it first. It's like, what? Why am I so desperate? You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, please just say it first. It's like, and then a little crazier thing happened though. A couple what ended up happening though is that I really wanted her to say it first, and she never did. And I was on a date with this girl, and it was just like going really well. And we were in the living room, like, tongue wrestling or mouth licking, whatever you want to call it, the normal people call it. I get a phone call. It's like in the evening. No one calls me in the evening. Not even those air duct assholes. They take 6 p.m. and later off, right? So it's like, I don't want fucking air duct, So it's like I know that it's my mom calling. No, she's the only one who calls in the evening. So I go and I pick it up. I'm like, hey Mom, what's going on? And we have plans for me to go home in a couple of weeks or whatever. And then she's like, hey,
hey, so just make sure that you driving when it's bright out and there's not a lot of just like lecturing me basically. I'm like, Mom, like I'm on a date right now, and she's like, grandkids. And I was like, okay, Mom, chill. And then it's like so uncomfortable. You bring up like a human. She's like, oh, you're gonna have a child. And then what ends up happening though is that I'm like, okay, I gotta go. I'm on a date or whatever. And then she's like, okay, and then I hung up. Why are you laughing at my pain? And I was just like, oh my God, right? I was like, was that the only time she was ever gonna say that she loves me first? Like that was so crazy, right? So I go back out into the living room where I was literally just like just making out hardcore, and I was just like so excited. And then I was like, oh my God. And then I couldn't stop thinking about my mom, and it was really weird because there was another person that was there. And then people are like, you know that Oedipus thing, like that's what's happening to you. And I was like, shut up, Freud. He's in my head, you know. And then it's a weird name too, Oedipus. They're both weird, right? However you want to say it. But then I was like, oh, okay, I gotta just tell you what's going on. She's like, okay. I'm like, yeah, my mom was gonna tell me she loves me, and then I hung up. And then she was like, oh, okay, well, just go call her. So I ended up like calling my mom back, and she literally just started lecturing me about traffic again. That's all she was doing, right? And then I was like, fuck. And then so my mom didn't end up like saying that she loves me that night. And then I went back out to the living room, and I was like, you're not going to tell me you love me tonight, are you? And then the girl was like, no, I'm not. And I was like, okay, well, I got to go. Like, I was like, see you later. If you're not going to tell me you love me tonight, this is already traumatic enough. That'll be two people. Let's just end this here. Here, take the steak to go. I made you a steak. Bye. No mashed potatoes, though. I don't know how to make those. And then so after, though, my mom ended up, it was crazy. My mom ended up, finally saying that she loves me first. And I was like, I had it prepared, the exact thing I was going to say to her. So she tells me, I love you. And I was like, oh my God. And I responded so caringly. I said, okay. Do you want some fruits? That's how that one ends. One of the things that I remember that I thought was really cool. You guys ever been to Pride Parade? Yeah, Pride Parade, right? It's a party. It's awesome. People are having a great time and so much love. And but there was a place in Turkey. They actually were having their first Pride Parade with like floats and everything. And then the cops and the firemen like came by and started spraying them with their giant hoses and like trying to get them out of like the streets, being like, you're not allowed here, kind of like punishing them for celebrating being gay and like having such a beautiful community, right? But then at that moment, as they were spraying them with these giant hoses, a giant rainbow appeared. And everybody in the streets was like, yeah, God loves us. You know, like they're so happy and they're like cheering and celebrating. And all these police officers and firefighters like, fuck. And they like, everybody wanted to get hit with the hoses at that point, right? They didn't care that their bodies were like being damaged. Like, bless us with this holy water of gayness. I love it, right? They're so happy. And then at that moment, though, they were trying to punish them, and then instead they actually like rewarded them with like such a blessing. And that's the same as like when I was growing up, my mom actually used to spank me, and now I'm really into BDSM. Directly connected, guys. So before I get out of here, I always love doing this. I actually do love sharing poetry. I have a poem that is directly important to be shared here because there is a bidet. And the first time I experienced a bidet was when I was traveling in Japan, getting my butt sprayed by a Japanese hose. Oh, that sounds so bad. Okay. I begin with a full stomach. Ramen noodles and gyozas galore. So much has been stored in my happy sumo belly. Like the best pencils, it's number 2. Time for poo-poo. Eat 10 mushrooms, I shit tinky. I plop down onto the seat, hopping up, burning my bottom heated seat. Don't miss a beat. I jump back on the ride, big kid on roller coaster. Rainy day, no lineup. It's the cave of wonders, magic lamp, wish granted. Taking my time, I make one hell of a deuce. Double dragon, experiencing the most treasured item in the country rich with magnificent oriental history. Japan,
the land of the bidet, the washlet. It massages my pear with perfect pressure. Never had water strike with such care. The crane delivering newborn's first steps. What? I don't get that one. Shit back and relax. It's the spray feature, rinsing out the inside of the sink after giant stack of dishes. Aiming scientifically where the sun don't shine, but now it's the sun rising in hometown after travels. There's pieces there that's been found, adjusting my spine as I find the sweet spot. Through thorough deep clean, its sheen could see reflection, wax on, wax off. Colon all the shots. Grabbing the handles, I'm a giggling schoolgirl. Can't help but wonder if I'm enjoying it just a little too much. Immediately escapes my mind, timing both sprays, hitting front, back, left, right, BA start. The Bachelor of Arts cheat code entered new level. Under pressure, I feel like the queen waving from the wrist, polite and respectful. I finally exhale, metaphorical cigarette, feeling appreciative that you came to my surprise bidet party. Thank you, everybody. I've been Anto Chin. Have a good night. One more time, give it up for Lars. Anto Chin. Yeah.
Maybe you can come on the road with me. It could be a duo act, Anto. We'll be a duo Crash Test Dummies. It'll be just the two of us. God, we're having a good time. Did you know that you were going to be witnessing so much bidet chat here in the alley? Like, you know what I want to do on a chilly October night? I want to go to a weird alley with a bunch of weird umbrellas and talk bidets for a little while. Maybe buy one used, all right? Who knows? Who knows? Maybe buy a used bidet tonight with your ticket. Yeah. Who's enjoyed it so far? Anyone? Anyone? Should I start charging? Should it be like you like attach a machine, like one of them little mall rides for kids, but for adults, where you just put a toonie in and you go for a little spin? Yeah? No? Yes? Who's enjoyed it? Who's enjoyed it so far? Everyone? God. Yeah. All right. Well, now it's weird, right? Now I made it weird, guys. All right. We have a fantastic show. So you guys ready for your second act? We're just going to keep this rolling here. She's performed at the 420 Comedy Festival. She co-produces and co-hosts her own show, Comedy Mixtape. And she's an Alley regular and an Alley favorite. Please give some love to Sarah Ashby, everyone. Sarah Ashby, come on down.
Thank you so much. You go for Lars, everybody.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We're here. We're in the alley. This is amazing, guys. Thank you so much for coming on out. Even though it's a little bit chilly, it's so fun to see you all here. I'm very excited to be here, but I'm also a little bit nervous. I hate telling people that I'm nervous, right? Because I always get that like same snippet of advice every time I say that. People are always like, oh, well, if you're nervous, just imagine that the audience is in their underwear and you'll be fine. Like, that's intrusive, right? Like, I'm not going to do that to you guys. So instead, what I like to do to get over my nerves is I like to imagine that I'm naked and you're all just super impressed with what you see. Pretty cool. Pretty good. No, it's been a pretty interesting little pandemic for me. One of my relatives found out that I was queer and wasn't very happy about it. Not like in the homophobic way or anything. They like told me they were just mad because I didn't like make an announcement about it. Like, because I like didn't throw a party or something. And I was like, who's the queer one in the family now? But like, I don't know. It was just like very interesting because like I don't know. I've never thought that I really ever had to come out as like bi or pansexual before. Because when I tried to at first, I would like come out to my friends and be like, "Hey, I'm bi," and they're like, "Yeah, we know." And I'll just be like, "Why? Is it because I can't stop quoting Buffy the Vampire Slayer?" And they're like, "No, Sarah, we were in a threesome last night. You said I love you before and after." Really weird. You know? I found it though, like it was easier coming out as bi than it was as coming out as gender fluid. Because I find it's like a confusing thing, and I get it. My gender is confusing. It confuses me all the time. If I could pick one, I would. That would be so great. But like I tried to explain it in like an easier way for people to grasp. So I was using TV terms a lot to describe it. So when I would tell people I was gender fluid, I'd be like, it's like imagine the Scooby Gang. I'm like all the Scooby Gang at different times, right? Like one day I might be Daphne, one day I might be Fred. Normally I'm a mix of Scooby and Shaggy, but even that was kind of confusing too for people to get. So I found the best way to describe what my gender is by describing it in Pokemon terms, right? So like if you imagine, it's like I am the Pokemon Ditto, right? Because like one day I could just be Ditto, or the next I could be a Charizard, or I could be a Blastoise, or I could be an Ivysaur, or I could be a Pikachu. But at the end of the day, I'm still myself, right? And much like Dittos, the only reason people keep me in their parties is for breeding purposes. Like I said, it's been a very interesting little pandemic. I feel like everybody I know got like very into hobbies that were like really good for them and like helped them out. Like people were getting into like baking or knitting or like archery. And I was like, what did I get into over the pandemic? What did I get into that I invested a lot of time in that I could brag about? Like, what could I really do? And the only thing I really invested a lot of hours into during this pandemic was the video game Guitar Hero. You guys remember Guitar Hero? Yeah. Video game that did not teach you how to play guitar at all. Had all the hits of the grocery store. It was amazing. You ever get kicked out of a no frills because you're just doing the buttons in one of the aisles? It's very uncomfortable. But I did. I got really into it. And like again, that's like I don't know how I could use this new skill, right? Like there's no way for me. Like I can't like make resin art and sell it or something like that. Like this skill is a very weird one. And I was like racking my brain. I'm like, what could I do with this newfound skill? What's the one thing I could really use it for? And the only thing I could think of is if like I'm ever trying to like woo somebody, right? I would like bring them back to my apartment and just be like, oh, hello, welcome. Oh my God, what's this? A PlayStation 2? Loaded up, attached to the TV, carry on my wayward son playing on Guitar Hero 2. No one's here to finish this. Well, we can't leave it like that. It's like shred in front of them and get married, you know? I don't think that's gonna work that way. I don't think that's how it works. No, I just it's been nice getting back out in the world. I'm very excited too that it's the fall season because in the fall is my favorite holiday, Halloween, right? Yeah. It'd be weird if I came up here and said a different fall holiday, right? It'd be weird if I was like, guys, it's fall, and in the fall's my favorite holiday, Remembrance Day. You don't get those poppies a poppin'. We're having a party. No, I love Halloween, though. I do. I really love Halloween because on Halloween, I get to be something I'm normally not, right? So I get to be emotionally stable and worthy of my parents' pride. But you don't have to be me, right? So my dad comes into my room and is like, hey, Sarah, when are you going to get a real job? I can be like, I'm not Sarah. I'm a ghost. Then proceed to fall down the stairs because it's 2 p.m. I'm drunk and wearing a sheet over my head with no eyes. Halloween. No, I was I went out. I did my friend's album taping the other night. It was super awesome, but I got so drunk. I was like at that level of hungover today where you can feel how dry your skin is, like from the inside, if that makes sense. So like I don't know. I've just been like trying to like counteract it with a lot of weed. I love weed. I love to smoke weed. I do. I smoke way too much weed, but like a dumb amount of weed, like way too much weed, like a stupid amount of weed. Like I smoke so much weed, I regularly answer yes or no questions with thanks, you too, man. And I always find like it's very interesting when people find out that I smoke weed because they get very excited about the fact that I smoke weed, but then get very intimidated by the amount of weed I actually smoke. Like I like when I had this the other day. Like I found out that I smoked weed, and he was like, "Oh, well, you like to smoke weed? Well, my roommate has a joint back at our place. We should go back there, go in the bathroom, light it up, open the windows, get a little crazy." Right? Because then I just had to be like, "I have 4 joints on me right now. Let's go find an alley." Cool about it. No, I had this very interesting thing happen to me over the pandemic. I had a guy reach out to me twice to ask if I wanted to have a threesome with him and his girlfriend. Except between those 2 times that he asked me, he changed girlfriends. Yeah, like I don't know how to tell them that like they weren't the problem. Like I don't know how to be like, dude, you didn't have to change the lineup. Like the coach is the bad one. It just feels weird to me, like when guys try to do that, they try to like rope me into their relationships once they get in them. It makes me feel like an old, like retired SNL person who like they just keep calling them back, like you got to do that character again. You got to do it. Lauren's begging you, please. And you're like, no, the cast is so young. I don't want to cut back. I don't know. I did have this happen though. This was a fun thing. I did have a guy ask me to be his girlfriend the other day. Thank you. Thank you. It was great until he like took it back the next day. It's like I didn't know you could do that, right? Like I wish I had known that like dating followed playground rules, right? Like it's my fault. I wasn't like, no, take these backsies, and like ran away. Couldn't trap him. But it was weird. It was like very weird, right? Because like I don't know. I guess I just should have known like that this guy didn't really like me, right? Like into those classic guy things that guys do when they like girls. Like he wouldn't pull my hair, or spit in my face, and arrest him. God, I wish you could take back a relationship. That's cool. Just return it somewhere. Like, hey, could I exchange this for time? I love that. I would love some of that back. No, I'm trying to. I don't know. I'm trying to get back out in the dating world. I did download all those dating apps again, trying to get back out there, and I was very surprised with it. I really, really was. I was kind of nervous coming out of COVID with everything that like the world would just be a little bit more like weird and like people would be like more like aggressive, like dudes be messaging me things like "show me your feet," and I'd be like, "Oh no, thank you," like not right now. But I found like, I don't know, it feels more professional on the online dating world now. Like, I feel like I'm at a job interview almost with the questions I'm getting. I'm having people like, what's your best asset? Are you a follower or a leader? What's your home address? Very professional things. I did get a little match though. I got a little match on Tinder. I found love for a night. Thank you. And I went to this person's house and they were like, do you speak any French? And I was like, oh my god, Sarah, this is it. Those 4 years of French immersion are finally gonna pay off. So I answered him, right? I was like, un petit peu. Right? And he was like, oh my god, that's so hot. He's like, that's so hot. That's so hot. Say something sexy. So like, I want you to touch my pussy. And I was like, past tense, present tense, masculine or feminine. I don't know how to do that. They didn't teach us that in grade 4 grammar. He was like, doesn't matter, just say anything. So I sang the entirety of Lady Marmalade. Guys, turns out gitchy, yaya, dada, not French. Or the lyrics. I'm really bad at noticing signs. I'm really bad at noticing signs and signals that people give me. Like I did a show out in Richmond Hill the other day, and a woman approached me after the show, and she was like, "Oh, like what are you doing tonight after you're done here?" And I was just like, "I'm gonna go home and see if I can make my Guitar Hero 2-disc work by putting toothpaste on it." Right? And she was just like, oh, "Okay." She was like, "Oh, that sucks, because like." You totally could have just like come over and stayed at my place tonight." And I was like, oh my God. I love when women support each other. Oh my God. It's just too late at night. Right? Driving's dangerous now, No, it turns out she wanted a bone and I'm a little ding dong. That's what happened. I'm trying to get better at it, though. I really am. I'm really trying to get better at it. And the one thing I'm really getting good at is I'm starting to notice straight women questioning if they would have sex with me when I pass them on the street, right? And I know they're straight women. I know they are for a fact because every time I pass them, they do this double take. They're always like this. They're like, right? I was like, oh my God, I've done it. I've done it. I'm just oozing gay. It's just coming out of me like a pheromone. My friends had to sit me down and be like, no, no, Sarah, no. It's just because you look like an amalgamation of like every single animated Disney character put together from growing up. Right? It's like, oh, you're right. I'm like the Disney prince in the body of the Disney princess they dressed up as. And they're like, no, 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 no. You're like every animated Disney animal character put together from growing up. I'm like, oh, right? But it gave me an idea. It gave me a little idea. It gave me a little plan now. So the next time I see a girl giving me the eye on the street, I think I'm just going to do it, right? I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to do it. I'm going to have that confidence, right? I'm going to have that confidence, have that confidence. Have that confidence to just go up to her and just be like, I can show you the world. One in which you are coming. That'd be a nice day in the park. No, yeah, I mentioned before, I was talking a little bit about my relatives. I recently got to see my mom again after a little while, after a little break from the COVID stuff. And it was really nice, and I love my mom. I'll give you a little bit of brief history about my mom and my mom's family, okay? My mom was a teen mom. My grandma was a teen mom. Me and my sister are not teen moms. Woo! Thank you. Told that joke in Hamilton, Ontario. Standing ovation. No, it's great. We broke the cycle, right? We did it, which is awesome for us, but terrible for my mom, who is now concerned that she's just never going to have grandkids, right? So like the kind and caring and understanding mother that she is, she's now just like forcing her way into my love life. And she sat me down the other day and she was like, Sarah, look, the best place to find men is at the hospital. Right? Yeah, that was my reaction too. But guys, it turns out she's completely correct. You know, it's been hanging on the ER for 2 weeks now. Met 4 very nice men with venereal diseases, and one guy with a face tattoo and a rash. Is are more impressed than she was. Turns out she wanted me to meet doctors. Yeah. But I think my luck's turning around because that rash was contagious, so I got to go back next week. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. I hope to get rid of that rash and find love. No, I don't know. I'm like Anta was talking about teaching. I also teach. I used to actually work also at a maid service, which was very interesting. I had to quit it though because it made me very depressed because I was cleaning houses for people who could afford to have their houses professionally cleaned, right? So every day I just walk in and see things I'd never be able to have in my lifetime or afford, right? I'm like, I'll never be able to afford a metal cat doorstop, like a fancy fruit bowl from Spain, or fruit. But like made me more aware of like things that just shouldn't be happening in your apartment, right? Like there just like shouldn't be cobwebs in your shower, or like dust bunnies in your microwave, or just like some man living in a room underneath you who can stare directly above through a hole in the floor, you know, those little things. I did get a maid outfit though from a maid service job. I did. And my boyfriend at the time was like, oh my God, you should put that on. It'd be really hot. And I was like, no, well, no, well. But I caved. I did it. I caved. So I threw on my lime green t-shirt, my beige khakis, and my sexy, sexy Crocs. You know, and I went into his room and I was like, are you ready for this? And he was like, get out of my mom's clothes. I had a very interesting coworker at that maid service job. This guy was a very, very weird dude. I don't know. He was one of those guys, and I hate this. Like, I don't know if you guys have ever experienced this, but I hate these guys who like do this thing. I hate when guys tell me that they have a very big problem with gay sex, and then immediately try to shove their dick in my asshole. You know, that happens. It's weird. They're like, you 2 dudes butt bang, and that's so gross, but you'll totally love it, babe. Right? It's like, I don't get it. Like, it's very, very weird. Like, I don't know. I feel like if you've used the phrase like, ooh, it slipped, you wear a gold chain necklace. You know? I told that joke once and a guy stopped me and he was like, I don't wear a gold chain necklace. I wear 2. And I'd be like, it's not double negative. Like, they don't cancel each other out, sir. You're just an extra bad guy. But I don't know, I hate that excuse. I hate that thing when people like, I hate that like, oh, it slipped excuse. Because like with that kind of logic, with that logic in mind, the next time I'm giving a classy hand job, I should be able to pull my hand off, clench it into a fist, and bring it back down, right? So when the guy's like, ow, oh my God, I can be like, whoa, oh, it slipped. Oh, it slipped, you got a slippery dick. Also, this and this are too close together. How was I supposed to know? I don't know. I think also with that, like, I don't know. I feel like if you literally cannot feel, like physically feel the difference between like a puss and a bum, there's like one or two things wrong with you, you know? Like the first thing, probably most likely, is that you're a liar. You're a liar. And the second is that your dick is numb. Please go get checked out. I'll be in the ER later if you want to meet up. Guys, thank you so much for having me. I'm Sarah ASHBY. Let's get Lars back up here.
Sarah ASHBY, everyone. Oh no, you guys been watching that? How long have you been watching that and wondering whether or not that was going to fall over? I was watching it from the back. Did you guys see what happened there? Oh man, keep it going for Sarah. Don't let this distract you. It was teetering. It was like I was looking at it at the back, and it was like I was like, how is that even still on? Did anyone else but me notice that? Am I the only one that was obsessing about it? It's like, look, now I'm just gonna leave it there too, and we'll see what happens. Right? Tension. It's like one of them. You ever go to the beach and see one of them rock stackers? You guys see that? Just a guy that spends all day at the beach just stacking rocks in odd positions. You're like, how the fuck is that standing up? And then your dog runs over and then just pisses on it, and the whole thing topples over, and 11 hours of his life are gone. So I spent 11 hours doing that. I'm like, I don't know, find a new hobby, I guess. Guys, you ready for your penultimate act of the night? Penultimate, you guys know what that means? Penultimate means second to laugh. Thank you. Thank you. You're like, Lars isn't just another pretty face. He knows fancy words like penultimate. It means not ultimate, but second ultimate. It's one of my favorite words of all time. Penultimate. This guy, he's the ultimate. He's performed all over the country, 20 years of experience, Second City grad. I love him to death. He's an alley regular. Please give it up for Liam Kelly, everyone. Liam Kelly. Liam Kelly. More for Liam Kelly. Come on.
Yeah, hey, look what I brought. Hey, a little protection. Hey, a little cover on that fella. Hey, how's that feel? How does that look? Does it look okay? Can you hear me all right? I mean, it's not as sensitive as it was, but I think you can still get the gist of it if I'm doing it right. So that's a good thing. I'm very nervous of being here. We're suspended like 2,000 or 3,000 feet above the ground, right? Like below us, there's like a reggae alley, and underneath that, there's a barbecue alley, and way down there's a basement alley. They got a whole bunch of things going on here, and then the last level there's a Caton alley as well down there. There's a lot of things down there. That's a reference to an 80s joke. That's an 80s sitcom joke there. I like how many single people are like, you know what do single people do? You know, at night in comedy in Toronto, they're like, we go out and we sit individually 5 different tables, and we don't talk to each other. We don't make friends, but hell, we're here. God bless you, freezing your nards off, eh? For God's sakes. Listen, ladies, you don't understand this, but all of our testicles are up inside our bodies at this point, right? We're like, retreat to the main body, retreat to the main body. They're just right up in there. Like, we'll come back out in the spring. We're good. We're all right. Don't worry. And I feel like this isn't I've watched too many cartoons in my life that I feel like this isn't a real brick wall. Do you know that? You ever have that feeling that if I just like ran and jumped into it, I would burst through and there'd be a Liam-shaped hole in it, right? And then I would fall. But I wouldn't fall immediately. I'd sit there for a minute and go, and then my legs would go, and then I would fall. I feel like Lars is setting me up. This is what's going to happen to me. That, or I'm worried that people are going to get free shows up there on the crane. Don't you think that? You know, like all the hard hats up there, and they got their lunch boxes, and they're like, hey, comedy show Saturday night around 10:30. Let's get some building done. Hey, you're up till 9, and we'll just watch comedy. It'll be great. We'll freeze our asses off. I've decided this is the last outdoor show I'm doing this year, just so you guys know. I think that's fair for me to announce. I'm going to say it right now. The 23rd of October, I'm not doing one more outdoor show ever in 2021. Fuck that. This is a dumb idea. I am over 40. I have been sitting back there just feeling regret after regret after regret. My prostate's this big. I have to pee every 10 seconds, and I'm cold. Like, jeez. I'm wearing none of my funny clothes. You know what I'm talking about? Like, I would not wear... This is none of the funny. This is just warm shit. This is just shit that's keeping me from freezing my nards off. So this isn't good. I feel like I'm giving you a subpar lip chattering performance tonight. I feel bad about that. I love your hat, mostly because I'm really jealous that you have it. Mostly I'm like, God damn, why didn't I wear a big white toque tonight? That would have been fantastic, or at least have a head of hair like that. You know what I mean? Something. Because I think with that head of hair, you could give the hat away, right? Like this guy could use the hat.
Your hair will keep you warm. Then you make a friend next time you sit together. You know what I'm talking about? Like, there's a, how did it happen? It'd be like your When Harry Met Sally moment. You know what I mean? Like, how did you fall in love? Well, we were outside in an alley, and some guy who looked like Katie Lang told us that we should get together and make this thing happen. And then it happened. You fell in love or something like that. All right, well, I'm glad I'm here. That was almost believable, eh? And you all almost were like, yeah. I like your gloves, man. Like, you're the man who came out with gloves tonight. That is a very good, like, either you're a cat burglar and you have them all the time. Which is it, sir? It's like, I never leave fingerprints anywhere I go. That's it. They call me no DNA. That's where the police have been trying to find me in 5 states and 2 islands. Oh, can I get back to the crash test dummies for just 1 second? A couple of things about the crash test dummies. Is the greatest song title if you're ever playing categories. Okay, you know what I mean? Like, list things that start with M. Like song titles, like you get like 400 points for getting. I was once married, and my brother-in-law yelled at me because we were playing, and the song was fa, the song by Otis Redding. He's like, that doesn't count. That's not a real song. I'm like, yes, it is. Fuck you. And by the way, we drop your burgers on the ground before we bring them in every time, Uncle Steve. You did not eat a burger that wasn't on the ground before you ate it. Sorry to tell you that. Steaks, hot dogs, you name it. It got put back on the grill for a second until everything was burnt off, and we're like, that's Steve's. No problem. But anyway, that's a true story. Eh? A little too close to home, eh? Like, wow, that sounds like you really kind of enjoyed it. And I kind of did. You know, I kind of knocked certain things off the grill on purpose. Like, you know, I hate that guy. Poof. I'll pick that up, you know? Yeah, I'm divorced. Doesn't matter. What's your name, my friend?
Will.
Will, I think I heard that earlier, Will. You've got a very Will haircut. Like, I mean, honest with you, you know what I mean? That's a very Will-like. That, like a Will Wheaton type of haircut. That's like a... You know what I mean? I wouldn't have said you were a Dirk for sure. Looking at you, I'm like, that's a Will, not a Dirk. You know what I mean? And your name feels like it ends in IE. I don't know why. I think it's there. It just ends in IE. Whatever it is. Like, I mean, was it? All right. Well, I felt like it. I'm not always right. I got my psychic at this point. I'm like, I wasn't even attempting to guess. Just that I thought IE just felt like it as an example. I think that's what that joke. No, I'm just joking. Will, what do you do, buddy?
What do? I work at Comedy Bar.
You work at Comedy Bar, so you're wasting your night away, really. Here, you're like, you could be getting paid and warm and seeing, you know, as good a show, at least, right? So,
my one night off.
Wow,
Here I am.
you're a desperate soul. Let me tell you that, Will. Get a life, my friend. Like, we are not life, all right? We are losers who are like, I'm going to stand in the alley. You should have gone out tonight trying to find someone like this girl's name is IE. I'm just joking, Will. Because you smell like the suburbs, if you don't mind me saying. You know what I mean? You look like you're like absolutely like me. I reek of the suburbs, don't I? Like, you know what I mean? You're like, this guy comes from a town that ends with hill or something like that, you know? For sure, where white folk live and there's like sidewalks on both sides of the street. That's true. It drives me crazy when I'm walking through my neighborhood. People are walking on the road with their dogs, and there's a sidewalk on both sides of the street. I'm like, who does that? Who's like, you know what I'm going to do? Me and my dog are going to challenge these 1,500-pound steel beasts, right? Because on the side of the road, it seems like too much of a pussy move on my part. You know what I mean? Like, relax, get on the sidewalk. For Christ's sake. I believe that's who the unvaccinated are, right? They're like, I'm just going to take the chance. COVID, you think so? We're not getting off the road. You can't put that up in my nose. Fuck you. That's who I think I know the 12% of the people who are unvaccinated are the ones who walk on the road still. Like, it's going to walk on the road. Forget it. It's the safest place to be. That's it. I know where the cars are when I'm here. I had a buddy once who would get in my car and he would take his seatbelt off and put his leg on the dashboard and over here. And I go, what do you do? He goes, well, if we get in an accident, I take my seatbelt off. That's what I do. I was like, well, good luck with all that. All right. He's like, oh, no, it's safer if you put your foot here and your foot here. It's way safer. I was like, well, you just try that. I was very tempted to just run into a brick wall just to see how it would happen. But I was afraid it would leave a car-shaped hole in it and then it would go and then crash to the earth. That's what I was worried about. Oh, my God. Yeah. I'm hot now. I'm warming up, actually. Physically, I'm warming up. Thank God. I am going to do about 45 more minutes until I'm warm, okay? That's it. My hand, I'm not going to be able to get the mic out of my hand, though. I need Will's gloves at this point. No, please. It's COVID. What are you, crazy? I don't know where the hand's been. It's been at a comedy bar, for God's sakes. Dear. Will, I have a question for you. When you use the bidet, you wash your hands when you're done. Yeah? All right. You're a grown man. See? This is what we have to talk about. And you understand this, my friend, and you do too. This thing. Men, we should wash our hands before we take a piss. That's what we should do, right? Because we put the filthiest goddamn things in the world on our wieners, which we want to put in happy places that shouldn't be covered with COVID-y fingers. You know what I'm talking about? Like, wash it
touch it, put it away. I don't piss on my hands. Will, you look like a guy who doesn't piss on his hands. The gloves, maybe. I don't know. Maybe you wouldn't tell anymore. You're like, I don't know. Oh, my glove is smelling, but I don't know. But, ladies don't understand. We piss on our legs. That's the truth, right? It hits the urinal, comes back on our legs. You were like, don't worry about my hands. Worry about my legs in your sheets. My legs are disgusting. You idiots. You're crazy. Wash your hands after you pee. Forget that. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it anymore, Will. Forget it. I'm single. I got nothing to lose at this point, right? I'm like, forget it. You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to get any better. I feel like that's my newer conversation with on a date. I'd be like, I don't wash my hands after I pee. I do it before. Where are you going? Where are you going? It makes sense. I got piss on my legs. Never mind. That's not going to matter. All right, so I was wrong with the IE. What is your name? Amy. That could have been AMIE. I mean, Jesus Christ, you made it sound like it was Helen or Karen or something. It's like, no, Amy. It was the sound that counted, Amy. I think I deserve a redo for that. Can I get a redo on that? Can I get some love from you this side of the room, the alley? Yeah, thank you. Thank you to the east side of the alley. I appreciate the east side. The west side, I feel, is like full of liars at this point. Amy is just trying to make me look bad up here. Like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. IE, that's ridiculous. Like, that's AMY. Fine. We couldn't spell that comedy alley, ALLIE, and you wouldn't have understood. Like, I don't understand. They're totally different. They can't be the same. Oh, my God. All right. Do you have a job there, Amy? What do you do? You work here. Good. Is anybody not just a comedy degenerate at this point? Is there anybody? Yeah, okay, good. A real human being. Look at you. Like, who probably has a life outside of here and doesn't just go watch degenerates talk about masturbating every day. Good for you. You look like you might have a real life. My God, I work here. You work at Comedy Bar. Is Mark Breslin here? Anyway, by the way, is he at the back? Like, I just thought I'd come out for the night. Didn't know what comedy looked like. Oh, my God. Amy, you work here. This is the worst night of my life. But I'm getting warm. But now I have a real person who's covered. God love you with your blanket, eh? That was helpful. Yeah. Someone brought you that. You're like, yes, you were dying. That's okay. What's your name?
Danielle.
Danielle. Thank you, Danielle. How are you doing? You okay? Good. Do you have a job? What do you do?
I'm a credit manager. I work in tech.
A credit manager. That's an actual job. You understand that? Give it up, please. That's a real job. Okay, that's not working at degenerate comics or at a comedy show on twice nights. Great, twice a week you're working. Christ, I work. Anyway, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Credit manager. That sounds like, you could maybe help me out. Oh, product. Oh, fuck. Well, I'm not productive. That's for damn sure. Give me credit. I am not productive. That is for gosh darn sure. I am absolutely unproductive. This is all I did today. I went for a walk. I came here. All right. I got 2 things done. And I'm wearing. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, all right. Good. All right. Well, I used to like this side of the room, but now I feel like I have the project manager over there. The project manager, like, forget you. That's it. I'm going to talk to this guy over here. That's my new favorite person in the audience. That's it. And I'm going to get to you soon. Start writing material back there, all right? Get something. I need something by the end of the show. I got to wrap it up with something big, okay? Get going. All right, good. How you doing, my friend?
All right.
What do you do?
I'm a technical writer.
A technical writer. So technically,
yeah,
you're a writer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I just thought. Yeah, that's it. So you're the guy who writes those incredibly lyric and beautiful instructions to assembling IKEA furniture. Is that what I can say? Yes. Put your Schmorgflogen inside the Schloopfluken and twist with the Allen key counterclockwise. That's it. Beautiful. I've read your work many times. It's quite good. The Shakespeare of that genre. That is what you are. I believe that's what they call you. Is that your name, by the way, Shakespeare? Or
No.
what is your name?
Christian.
Like that's actually a famous religion too. I don't know if you've ever heard that, but that's a fact. Yeah, a couple people do it. I know a guy. He can set you up on this whole thing if you want. Technically, I can write him something for you. What do you technically write, Christian?
Software manuals for sonar software.
Software manuals for sonar software. So you are the least read writer in this room, is what you're trying to say. Like, nobody reads what you wrote. They're like, they get it, they're like, look at this manual, and they just put it down, like, plug it in, we'll figure this shit out. Like, no, Christian worked a long time on this. Christian, what the hell is that guy? He doesn't know anything. He doesn't know that. He knows his schluken flaken from his fluken flaken. That guy, forget it. Just plug it in, turn it on. Let's see if it works. Bing, bing, I found a whale. I don't need you, Christian. Hell with you and your stupid stoner goddamn manual. That sounds horrible. It does. My brain says 15 minutes. Fuck. Anyway, so glad to be here. I'm having a great time. Oh, this is great with Christian, the technical writer over there. How do you get a gig like that? And is it as soul crushing as it sounds? Let's be honest. Because like I'm sure you're like, I'm gonna be a novelist. I'm Christian. I'm gonna write this thing about a guy who gets lost in a jungle and then he gets found by a snake who raises him. I'm Christian. That's what I figure you did when you were like 12. And then they're like, no, you're gonna be a technical writer. You're gonna write manuals. How did
You're
you do
really
that?
getting it right.
Yeah, I'm pretty much nailing your life. Yeah, it's not quite getting IE at the end of Amy's name, but I'm getting there at some point. Do you write like other things on the side? Because I'm sure you probably want to do some other things. Yeah.
Yeah, nothing published, but just
Nothing
my
published.
Own, and my own entertainment.
What's the thing? Like you have something you're like, I created a new Jack Reacher. I'm gonna make this shit happen. Do you have something you're trying to make happen?
A little bit.
A little bit? You don't want to tell us,
Something
eh?
I'm
Because your
trying.
word, we're going to steal it. And this,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. These people work in comedy and product management. You never know, right? Someone's going to all of a sudden, it's going to be out on the shelves. You're like, God damn it, Christian. I didn't know what I was doing here. Comedy Alley, you ruined another life. That's what's going to be going. But by then, you'll be frozen dead. So that'll be okay. This show is going to be like getting off the top of Everest. That's what it's going to be. I'm just going to be stepping over corpses, just trying to get down. Just like, oh, remember Christian? He had a goal. Poor guy didn't make it. Oh, Will. Oh, I got to take his glove. Take Will's gloves for sure. And take Amy's hat. We got it. We all get out of here, and I just lose a toe, and it'll be okay. Just the tip, That'd be great. Wouldn't that be great if you could have a frozen circumcision? You just leave it out in the cold for a while and just break the tip off. That'd be fantastic. I imagine it wouldn't be nearly as painful. Oh, Christ, I have fun. At least I make it up. That's all. Hey, I got to be honest with you. I just want to make this shit up. So if I'm going to do that, I'm going to try and at least have a good time. So one thing I want to tell you before I go today, I've been in a bit of a mood. I'll be honest with you. The pandemic's getting to me. I'm being a little cranky these days. And so I like to end the show sometimes with a little story about my mom because I think it's a great story. But I think today I need to hear it to be lifted up a little bit too. So me, the asshole Liam, is now just going to tell you a nice true story and leave you on that high note for the last act. So my mom was a teacher. She taught grade 1. And I don't know if you guys remember grade 1, but there's like 40 of you. You all perpetually had runny noses. Your clothes didn't fit well, and you sat on a filthy carpet for everything you did, right? Just sitting together, right? So this is the 70s, and my mother, at the last day of school, she unfortunately had to keep one of the boys back. He wasn't able to read yet, and he wasn't able to write, and she knew with another year, grade 1, he'd be fine, but it was best for him. And in the 70s, we sometimes did what was best for you instead of what made you feel good. You know what I mean? So anyway, mom calls the parents and says, your son's a great boy, but he's going to have to hold back. And they cried, and that was sad. And they said, could you make sure he doesn't feel like he's left out? Can you make sure he doesn't feel like a loser? And my mom said, yeah, I can do. That's a great way. Thank you for being sensitive, So here's how my mom kept this boy back. It's one of the best things you can ever hear. On the last day of school, she calls all these 40 kids on the carpet, like, kids, did you have a good year? And they loved her. Yeah, Mrs. Kelly, we love grade 1. Oh, we love you. She goes, are you excited about grade 2? And 40, oh, Mrs. Kelly, this is grade 2 is going to be so good. We can't wait. And she said, I just went into the kindergarten class. And I talked to Miss Cofield, and they're scared to come to grade 1 next year. Isn't that crazy? And they, oh, Mrs. Kelly, they shouldn't be afraid. There's nothing to be afraid about. She said, I know. But what if one of you stayed with me to help next year's grade 1s? Would any of you like to stay with me next year to help out? 40 little hands. I'd like to do it, Mrs. Kelly. Let me stay. I'll stay and help next year's class. And she picked the little guy who had to fail, right? Thus making him the hero, right? Like every kid was jealous of this kid. Like, oh my God, he's so lucky. Mrs. Kelly, I can't believe that kid. 15 years later, that kid woke up and went, I failed grade 1. I didn't even know that. But I thought it was such a nice story and a nice way to talk about the fact that sometimes life is hard and difficult. And, as much as I bust all your balls, we got to be nice to each other, right? Because we all are in this together and we'll get through it together. And I thank you so much for coming out tonight. My name is Liam Kelly. You guys are an amazing crowd. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your show.
Liam Kelly, everyone. Keep going. Yes. Magic happens in these alleys. This is a magical alley. A magical alley right now. How you guys doing? You got all of your limbs, all of your organs still functioning? Christian, how are you? Yeah. he said in a descending melody, I'm all right. And he at the end when he said all right, his eyes were closed by the end of the sentence. Are you there? You're good. You're good. Can I call you Christ?
Sure.
Yeah, that's badass. Be like, my name's. Did your parents call you Christ? Christ dinner. Dinner. Oh, for Christ's sake, where's Christ? Did it happen a lot? Has anyone ever said this to you before?
No, actually.
No? Christ, that's a badass name. I think you should own that. Christ. Christ. Like when you go to Starbucks and the barista asks you like the name Christ, but you look her just dead in the eye. She's like, and then when she's like, I'm not gonna say that, and you're like, you have to. It's technically that is my real name, Christ. Christ, and you just like kind of hover in an angelic kind of Christ-like way, teaching people how to fish. Right? I gotta ask you point blank, everyone in this alley. I'm gonna ask you something point blank as the host and proprietor of this alley. You guys believe in me?
Yeah.
Yes, I knew it. I fucking knew it. Because you're like, oh, I'm pretty sure this is a guy who saw an empty alley and somehow did this. So that's something, right? I've at least done that. Like this, I've accomplished this. So I'm now that I think that I have your supports and know that I have your supports, I'm just gonna unleash it here. I am going to run for office in the next election, everyone. Doing it. I'm doing it. And I'm going to ask for your votes. And but I'm not going to run in Canada. I'm not going to run in the United States. I'm actually a dual citizen. I'm going to be prime president of Canada, America, Canada. I'm going to unite both of our, and Mexico wants in on it. They can do that too. And it'll be an opt-in thing. I'm going to do an election where like, you know what? Our entire country is just going to vote for that guy. And then we're just going to join him. I don't know what we're going to call it. Just be wherever you are, call it whatever the fuck you want. I don't care what you call it. If you're up here in the north, you can call it Canada America, or you call it Americanada. But I'm not going to run. I'm not going to run in a typical party because who makes the noise if you guys vote? Do you vote in the most recent election here?
Yeah.
I voted in the most recent election in both countries, and I was like, okay, like because you don't vote for. How many of you felt really great about your decision, where you're like, fuck yeah, this person's great, and they're going to get it done, and they believe in my values, and they're going to bring us all together, and this is the person who should be leading us. Like if you were a young child, would you be like, oh, this person is a hero? No, you're thinking, oh, they're the least shittiest, right? They're the least. I feel like they're all criminals, but he's the least criminal. I guess I'll vote the least criminal guy. That's how you do it, right? But I'm not going to run for, don't worry, I'm not going to run for Democrat. I'm not going to run Republican. I'm not going to run conservative. I'm not going to run liberal, PPC, Communist Party. Can you believe there's a Communist Party? Who was surprised? Make some noise if you were a little surprised. You're like you know, sort of. I'm assuming you mostly knew who you're going to vote for. Like I'm going to go with this person, but then you get in, you scroll the list, and there's like Communist Party. They're still at it. Like almost, I'm like kudos to you guys. They're like, we've all read Animal Farm. We know it doesn't work, guys. We know it doesn't work. We've read the book. If it doesn't work for animals on a farm, it can't work for people. That's a proven thing. And so I'm not going to run for any of those. This is my entire campaign. I'm going to tell you my entire campaign right here is I'm going to run as the leader of the pizza party, and my whole campaign is free pizza for everybody.
Yay!
What do you want?
Pizza!
How much do you want to pay for it? Nothing. Free pizza for everyone. And I tour the globe doing that. I'm just whipping pizzas out at you guys. We've let them cool a little bit, but you got to catch them. No boxes. We'll skip the boxes. And I'm just throwing pizzas at you guys. And if you want to get involved on a grassroots level, you could host your own pizza party, and you can invite all your friends and family members. There's no way right now. I can see you looking in my eyes, and you're like, I'm going to fucking vote for Lars. If Doug Ford can run on buck of beer, you're damn fucking right I can run on free pizza for everyone. Who's going to pay for it? Whoever pays for anything. It's all make-believe. The economy is just smoke and mirrors and numbers in a fucking box, guys. It's all pretend. None of it's real. Every year, just people lie to us, and they say one thing, and then they don't do any of that stuff, and we're like, okay, so I'm just going to say it straight. I'm going to give you all free pizza. All right? And fun fact, you want to hear a fun, this is a legit fun fact. The last federal election, with the money the country spent on that, there was legit enough money to throw an entire country for Canada pizza party. We could have done this already. This could have been done. The money spent, I'm looking at you, Justin Trudeau. We could have had a fucking countrywide pizza party. Instead, we all just stood outside a community center for a while and followed protocol and then checked a box for the least of the losers. That's all we did, but not anymore. Free pizza for everyone. Pizza party. Pizza party, pizza pizza. I don't want to spit. Good thing there's no front row people. That was like the splash zone. I really popped that pee right there. I'll wipe the mic here. Guys, and when I show up, I'll also appear at your party. I'll appear at your pizza party. And just so you know, it's not delivery. It's the Larzio. You guys see what I did there? It's not delivery. It's the Larzio because I'm Lars and it's pizza. You guys get it, right? You guys get it? Yeah, you guys get it. Okay. All right. Guys, we got to bring your next act. He is actually a fantastic, I don't know if he's technically a dual citizen, but he's doing this in the States and in the U.S. He's a Just for Laugher. He's won a ton of awards. He's literally done everything you can do, and then he left the country. He was like, I've finished. He beat Canada comedy in the video game, but he's back here to play a bonus level in the alley. Please give it up for Mark DEBONIS.
I didn't request the mic wipe. It's just, pandemic. But get up for Lars, everybody, one more time. It's always good to follow a pizza party cult. I don't know. Yeah, this is it. This is stand-up. We're here, kind of winter time in an alley on a roof, which is just weird in itself. And the thing is, it's like I don't even know what's funny anymore. Like, I'm not going to lie to you guys. Like, in the past 2 years, I've done stand-up maybe 10 times. I have no sense of humor anymore. I honestly feel like I'm just turning into an audience member. And it's just no disrespect, but you're not coming here to watch yourself. You're not coming here to be let me listen to this guy talk about what I do in my day-to-day. You're listening to somebody live a wacky life. And you're yeah, I can escape my life. But it's I honest to God live in Buffalo right now. There's nothing funny about this. I have nothing going on at all. I live in Buffalo, and a girl that I work with legitimately asked me if I've ever had wasabi. I don't even know how to explain how serious she was when she's asked me this. She's have you ever heard of wasabi? And I'm just where are you from? And then she repeatedly asked me if I've ever had kimchi before. It's a mind-blowing thing to her. And this is Buffalo. And this is the level of comedy I'm giving to you right now, is Buffalo. I have nothing happening. It's absolutely insane, And it's it's weird, because I'm visiting. I'm at my parents' house right now, and my parents are insane. My dad prints out junk mail and reads it in the morning, and then is confused about what's going on, and he has viruses and all this shit, and I'm stop opening junk mail, but he's they're sending me the emails, and I'm but you gotta stop doing this, and my dad is so paranoid that that when the door's not locked. I could come home at any time in the day, and he's just is the door locked? I'm yeah, the door's locked. He'll yell from anywhere in the house. It's 2 a.m. He's is the door locked? And I'm yeah, I'm a fucking adult. Okay, I know how to lock a door. Turns out I messed up, though, because the other night he woke me up because turns out I didn't lock the door. And look. He woke me up and he's you didn't lock the door. And I'm I locked the door. He's but you didn't put the wood down. Because the thing is, we have a sliding door. Okay, my parents have a sliding door. And I don't know if you guys have ever had a sliding door before, but there's a piece of wood that you have to put down to complete the door. Because without the wood, it doesn't do anything, apparently. And he's just well, you didn't put the wood down. I'm when I locked the door, but he's it's still not locked. And the thing is, I can't even tell you that I bought a door before, because I have never bought a door in my life. But what I'm curious to know is when you buy a door, a sliding door, does somebody come to your house after they install it, and they're just all right, so you got the door, but you're gonna need the wood. Okay, because right now the store really doesn't do much. It's more of a visual thing, So we got the half broomstick, the cut hockey stick. just a classic wood look, whatever you need, you know? Because like I'm just curious to know why they never finished the door to begin with. Because to me, it kind of seems like they just kind of sold the prototype. You know, they're just like some guy comes in, he's like, man, we need to change the door game. There's too much of this open and close thing, you know? And they're like, what is this sliding scenario? The guy's like, it's not done yet. I still haven't found the way to lock it. He's like, I'm buying them all. I don't know where that joke goes. It's a joke about sliding doors, all right? It doesn't have an ending. What do you expect? We're in a rooftop alley. Look, you got to understand something. My family's insane, okay? My dad actually, grew up in, the business is, arcade machines and construction, and he just doesn't understand how to relate in any emotional level at all. And it's weird because I don't see a therapist, okay? And it's probably because of my upbringing for not wanting to see one or able to see one. And people are always like, how come you don't have a therapist? Get a therapist. This is the time. Everybody's got one. And my only argument to this is most of the people I know who have therapists are the biggest assholes. And I've been trying to figure out why. And it's probably because you're paying for a hype man, you know, because a therapist will never disagree with you. They'll just be like, yeah, you know what? You were right. And they'll justify your actions. And this is not the world that I was brought up in. I am brought up in everything is my fault. It's the end of the day and whatever. I was a kid and I was experiencing some sort of anxiety or stress or whatever. And my dad was just trying to relate to me somehow. And he's just like, look, Mark, you're going through something right now. I get it. Kind of. It's just look at a pinball machine. Okay, your body is the pinball machine. And this problem you're dealing with is the pinball. The more you fight it, the more it's going to light up. You got to just lose the ball sometimes. And as a kid, I'm like, what the hell is this guy talking about? But now I think about this and I'm like, is this the best analogy of anxiety I've ever heard in my life? Because I was thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, a pinball machine really is a embodiment of what anxiety is, you know? And I'm like, okay, this also, okay, you know what? These are good starters, but not good closers. If this was a movie, I would just jump cut to the next joke. But unfortunately, we have to, go through the rest of it. I don't know. I actually have been watching a lot of movies, a lot of downtime, obviously, and going through a lot of movies. And it's look, it's a movie. It's an exaggeration of life. Totally makes sense. Okay, there are things that you accept in movies. You're like, all right, whatever. This is what it is. This is what it's gonna be. But there's some things that are just insane to me in movies. I've seen so many movies. This is to me a classic movie breakdown. A guy gets into a fight with a girl who's way out of his league and then regrets the fight they got into, and he's talking with his friend, and this is what happens. The guy's just like, man, we got into a huge fight last night. I got to apologize to her. His friend's like, yeah, man, you should. She's way better than you. And he's like, well, she's at this Guns N' Roses concert tonight. He's like, go tell her. Go tell her you love her at the sold-out Guns N' Roses concert in our small town. And he's like, I got to do it. I got to tell her that I love her. I fucked up. I shouldn't have did what I did. I got to go to this sold-out Guns N' Roses concert in our town and know exactly where she is. I got to tell her. He's like, do it. Gets into his car, gets through gridlock traffic, shows up at the theater, sold out, and just finds a parking spot right in the front. And I'm just like, this is too much. You're telling me, I could believe that he could randomly bump into her. But you're telling me he finds a parking spot right in the front? And just not even it was a fluke, enough room that he could back in. You know, like just casually show up and like he's like, I gotta tell her I love her. Let me just back in right now. And it's just like, to me, this is like where movies go. Because I started thinking like how many opportunities I probably lost out on in my life because of parking. Because it really does. Like, this has to be the secret to life. You know, people who have that luck to find parking are the ones that succeed. Because I started thinking like, how many times have I had like gusto or like energy to do something? I'm like, you know what? I'm going to change my life. I'm going to go out and get a job or do something, and then I just like show up and I'm just like, all right, there's no parking. Let me just lap around. You know, let me go. A second time you start questioning your decisions. You're like, I don't know, do I really want this? You know, the third time you're like, you know what? Fuck it. I don't care anymore. You know, and to me, that's just what it's all about, you know? I think you guys are expecting too much as an audience. Because I'm just like, let's just have a good time. These jokes really, honestly, don't go anywhere. I live in Buffalo. Buffalo is a place where there's no, you know, your life doesn't get better the more you live there. So expect that from my act. But it's like, you know, all these movies, they have like these like pandemic movies, you know, storms like ripping the world apart, you know, monsters and all that. I'm cool to watch all that. But the thing that like starts stressing me out in movies is like the traffic of people leaving the scene. You know what I mean? Like you watch like Godzilla and people are like leaving New York. It's just like, where are you going? Like you have a better chance of fighting Godzilla right now than you do to leave gridlock traffic. And then you see the people who are like honking their horns, and it's just like, did you not know this was happening? Like, were you just like, you know what? We're going to the cottage. You better believe it. All right. It took me 3 months to book this cottage. I don't give a fuck if Godzilla ruins Manhattan right now. I am going to this cottage. You know, like to me, I just don't know if I can deal with apocalypse traffic at the end of the day. You know? Yeah, that was that one. Good. You know what? This has actually been better than okay, this is something that I don't even want to do that. Okay. I don't know what to classify these. I don't want to say jokes. They're more thoughts at, you know, because it's like if I were to have like a joke do-a-tang, I don't know what I would label things as, you know, and I have come to terms with the fact that do-a-tang is a hilarious word. People love do-a-tangs. Oh, this is something. I was actually was walking around, and I think like I'm at the point where I just kind of don't really care that much anymore, and I'm like, I got to give it up for, you know, that whole thing about give credit to where credit's due. You know, like gyms, we got to give it up for these people. The people who own gyms, like they have found a way to sell people absolute shit. Okay? I walked past the gym and I saw a girl legitimately jumping on a box. And like it wasn't even like she was getting over something. She was planning to jump on this box. Like the window was big enough where I can see this whole process happen. She walked up to a box that was probably the height of the stage. Like I'm into it right now, you know? And she like thought about it and was just like, this is why I'm here. I am paying to jump on this box. Like probably $120 minimum a month to jump on this box, you know? The guy behind her just flipping a tire. Just like into it. And then another guy was just like holding a sledgehammer, getting ready to hit another tire. I'm like, these people are all, just get a fucking job. Like they're all paying to work right now, you know? And I was thinking about this kind of like as a stupid thought, but after walking past that gym, I'm like, no, I might actually try and do this now. Like I've moved a lot in the past 6 months, and I'm not gonna lie to you. Like I'm probably gonna try and start like a CrossFit moving company, you know, because I was like, here's the problem with it. Like I don't know if I pay you to help me, or you pay me to move people. Because this is where it's like a genius business, in my opinion, where it's just like you join CrossFit Moving. You're like, look, I'm going to get the steps in, the lifting. We're going to wrap stuff. Okay? We got to know how to properly move and not scratch walls. But then there are other people who are like, I need to move. I need to move from one location to another. And I'm like, all right, I got a team. I got a team of people who are so happy to be here that they're paying me. They're literally paying me to help you move. And I don't know what's going to happen yet, but I do think that CrossFit Moving is going to be a big thing. Lars, if I've heard anything about comedy, it's when the air conditioner is louder than the laughs. It's time to leave. The last thing I'm going to say might be that, but no, here's this. This is completely out of whack. Not this, like this act. I don't know. There probably should have been a joke where I ended on some sort of laugh, and I should have done it at the end. But you know what? We live and learn. This is going to be a whatever thought, but it's someone was coming up to me and they were telling me that they went on like 4 hikes in a day. And like I was supposed to be impressed by this. And it's not like I get it, okay? Like but where I'm confused is like I didn't know hikes ever ended. Because like to me it's just walking, you know, and this is why people are genius, because they've found a way to turn walking into another business, you know, because if I'm walking here on the sidewalk, it's commuting, but the second I'm off road, I'm hiking. And it's just like, I don't know. These are more like thesis papers on the mentality of the mind. But I'm going to keep casually bringing this mic stand forward to me until Lars starts walking towards me. If he's not even here right now, this is him telling me, like, keep going, Mark. I'm like, no, Lars, like, trust me. There's, like, you don't understand. Buffalo sucks. I thought it was going to be like a hidden gem of a city, but it's absolutely not. Like, I got a job right away because I was just like, I need to create a routine, and I work at this pizza place, and it's Pizza Party Lars. They scoop the tomato sauce with their hand.
Oh.
They wear a glove in their defense and spread it on the pizza. And I told them, like, this is the most disgusting thing I've ever seen in my life. And then they were like, it's buffalo style. And I'm like, this is not buffalo style. There's no way, like, to me, like, buffalo style is like, oh, I'm going to make a pizza, but I've never ate one in my life. I have never experienced somebody scooping tomato sauce with their hand and then spreading it on the thing, like on the pizza. I'm like, it's too much. Like, the people there just don't like, it's a fucked up place. Like, it's really lowered my thoughts on what's going to happen in the future. Like, just living amongst the Buffalonians and just being like, if this is the future, we're all fucked. If I'm doing recon, trust me, let's hope Buffalo's not the majority of America, because they're pretty dumb. Lars, please, you got to start walking. This is killing me here. Thank you very much. My name's Mark DEBONIS. Give it up for Lars. Thank you.
Mark DEBONIS. Yes, he is. I told him before the set, I'm like, I'm from the future. This is future Lars, and the fate of the world depends on tonight's set. Guys, was this the greatest night you've ever had in an alley? Yes. Yeah, you saw ANTO Chan, you saw Sarah Ashby, you saw Liam Kelly, and you just saw Mark DEBONIS. We're going to do it again next weekend, Halloween, so you can dress up, you can be fucked up weirdos, and instead of Comedy Alley, it's going to be Murder Alley? Murder or Death Alley? We're going to do it. All right. See you next week in Murder Alley, everybody. Good night, good night, good night. did it, everybody. We did it.
Nothing new. All right. Method through the madness. Yeah, I mean, I go to a show every other night, but I like we actually like that's I've seen like half of some of these people's sets.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I sat Sarah's show last night.
Okay.
Just like I was doing my friend's recording. I was there.
Oh.
I was there. I sat that show. I heard half in front of it. I was like, oh, I know exactly what's happening. Yeah, it's gonna be nice. How was it?
I love it. I haven't been to comedy forever.
Great.
Nice crowd.
I'm saying I'm thinking I'm lost and guess I'm finding me. Through that madness, through that madness, like I feel the only sin I can feel. I'm gonna love the man. Through that madness, I'm not listening. Through that madness, I wanna kiss the only sin I can feel. I'm gonna love that man. But I'm not.